Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this Fairfield County Budget Work Session to order Monday, April the 3rd, 2023 at 6 o'clock. First, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that our chairman will be late. He had a prior engagement that he's attending, and he'll be here as soon as he can. At this time, we'd like to get a approval of our agenda for this afternoon. Can I got a motion and second on the agenda? Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. 6-0. We'll do invocation by yours truly. Let us bow our heads. Father, we come before you, giving you thanks and honor, Lord God, for allowing us to see another day. We ask right now, Lord God, that you look down upon us and have favor. We ask, oh merciful Father, that you give us the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding. We ask that, Lord, you give us the vision that it would take to move your county forward. We thank you for the citizens of this great county, and Father God, as representative, it is our duty to do your will. This I pray in your Son, in Jesus' name, amen. Now we're down to item 4, items of discussion. We turn it over to our administrator.
Good evening, Council. I'm going to turn it over to our Interim Finance Director, Ms. Beverly Mosey.
Can y'all hear me? Oh, okay. Good evening, Fairfield County Council, citizens of Fairfield County, and greetings to our agencies that are here tonight. Thank you, agency representatives, for coming to present your request to County Council for fiscal year 2024. As a housekeeping reminder, bathrooms are located in this pocket right here where this small set of steps are, just behind that opening. Agencies, as the name of your agency is called, please come to the podium. You will have a time period of up to 5 minutes to present your budget. The timer will automatically start when you begin speaking. There is no need to discuss your budget line by line. County Council has a copy of the budget appropriation request that you have submitted. Please state your name, your position or title with your organization. Briefly tell us the purpose of your organization, the amount requested for fiscal year 2024, and how the funds will be used. When you finish your presentation, please remain at the podium for council questions. And once you are finished, you are not required to stay. Please exit quietly. County Council, we have 3 agencies that could not attend tonight. We have scheduled them for the April 19th work session. That will be Council on Aging, Midlands Tech, and Old English Tourism. At this time, we will begin with Ag and Art Tour and Farmers Market.
Hi everyone, just to let you know up front, this is my first time doing this. I'm a nervous wreck, so I'm just gonna put that out there right up front. Also, I was under the impression I was just here for the Ag and Art and the Farmers Market was going to be separate, but I can answer any questions about the Farmers Market that you need. So my name is Jamie Bain, and I took over the Farmers Market in August of 2022. The market was under the chamber and had a few people volunteering their time, but did not have the structure it needed to be the tourist attraction it has the potential to be. I have a business background as well as many volunteer positions under my belt. My mentor has taken a company from scratch and created a $1 million company in less than 3 years. I volunteer my time, 40+ hours, and wallet every week to make the market and Agonart successful. Why do I tell you this? Because we were not scheduled to participate this year in the tour. I was approached to coordinate the event and accepted. Fairfield County has been struggling for a while on fighting its ground and identity, and I want you to understand I am qualified to do what I do. Agonart is a huge state event that brings a lot of people from all over the county, all over the country, to our county during our weekend. Not just for the farmers and artisans, but for the hotels, the gas stations, the restaurants, and even the small local merchants. Our county won the best county in the tour a few years back, and then the people in charge had issues or just lost their passion for the event. This is not a dying event. It gets bigger and better every year. For example, this year, there are 189 tour sites across the state. 189 farms and artisans signed up. That's not counting the people that will be on each site. That's just the site itself. There's 11 counties participating. We used to be the best, and now we barely make the grade. I'm here to ask you to add us to your item line this year so we can make this event what it should be, and Fairfield County can be represented in the way it should be. I know it sounds like a lot, but there are a lot of costs that are behind the scene that people just don't understand. The event is free for the tour sites and for the visitors as well, but it still costs to advertise, to even participate in the event itself, which I listed some of that in the paper. We search out sponsors in the community, but it's just not enough. In years past, sponsors have donated and did not get the recognition they deserve or promised because funds just didn't go far enough, so they stopped donating. I don't ever want that to happen on my watch. And prices are going up on everything these days. I'm sure you're all very much aware of that. We need to come together and work as a community and bring Fairfield County back on the map. I will end this with one of my favorite quotes. When a community works together, we have great things happen. When a community only works together, only works together when it only benefits themselves, you have a disaster. When a community works against each other, you have nothing but failure. So let's have great things come back to Fairfield County. And when I filled out the form for the funds, I was very confused. Again, I'm very honest. This is the estimated cost for the event to be held on our part. This is where we need to get our sponsors. This is where we need to get the sponsors I got for the tour this year alone didn't even touch this map. The shirts alone were $1,261.78. That's just for the shirts for us to have to give away. That's part of the tour. I've raised a lot of money, but it's just not enough. So that's why I'm here to ask you guys if we could be put on the item line for this. And as the owner of the farmers market now, I have my own 501c3 for our Fairfield Farmers Market. I've also asked for money to help us support the farmers market. Like I said, I was under the impression that wasn't going to be today. I've been working very hard and very diligently to bring our farmers market up to high standards and very highly respected, and I feel I've done that since August. And when they asked me to coordinate the Agonart tour, I felt it just went hand in hand, and we needed to make it happen and be able to bring it to what it should be for our county.
Any questions, Council?
Yes, I have one. You were talking so fast. Did you say that the Ag and Art tour, the people didn't want it to happen this year?
It was supposed to not happen. It was canceled. We were not on the roster to be participating for our county. And then I had the community and other people approach me and ask me if I would coordinate it through the farmers market, and I accepted.
Why did they want to take it away? Because it's a really good thing.
A lot of things that had happened in past years, which was before my time, I was not participating at that time, that people just couldn't agree, and there was a lot of miscommunication throughout a lot of things. And when the community found out it wasn't going to happen, they blew up the phone lines through many sources and many things, and my phone was ringing off the hook, and I was like, I'll step up and do it, but I can't do it alone.
So where will it be held, do you know?
The Agner will be, it's 11 sites throughout Fairfield County that it will go, and it's June 17th and 18th is our weekend. Our weekend is by ourselves, so other counties have to share weekends. Fairfield County always gets its own weekend. We have a kickoff dinner that will be held the Tuesday prior, that will be on Doty Farm. And don't ask me the street name.
Yeah. No, it's out in the country. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair, previously it was held by the Chamber of Commerce in the past, correct? I think. So you want to run it by you now?
It will be run by me, yes. I'm the coordinator for the state.
Okay.
Yes. Flyers, signs, the marquee down by McDonald's, we want to be able to use that. That's $680 just for a spot for a couple weeks on there to let people know that that it's out there and that we're there so people know to participate. Because unfortunately, when not everybody's on Facebook, so not everybody knows everything on Facebook.
Since this has been done in previous years through the chamber,
Yes.
and I'm still not, now why is it not still? And you work with the chamber?
Because the event, and I don't know if he wants to step up, and
If you would, please come forward. If you would, come.
Good evening. So the farmer's market has fallen up under the chamber for years, and it's gotten to the point, which was fine when it was small, 2, 3, 4 vendors, but now it's gotten so big it needs to be its own entity. And I'll be honest, we just don't have time to run that. It's just a thing. So what we did was, like last year at the Ag and Art Tour, the farms have been asking to run it for a while, which I've been trying to encourage, just because we already do. The chamber does 17 major events. They draw close to 40,000 people. And honestly, that's just one of them that we just don't have a lot of time for. Now, we do everything we do for it, pay everything, all that kind of stuff. But as far as just the actual time to run it, we can't put the time that, let's say, Jamie can do. So the farms that asked to run it, a couple farms, when they found out how much it cost and then how much time was involved, how do I put this? They told Clemson to just cancel it. When I found out in January that we weren't on the tour, we called the director and said, listen, can we still get back on it? So we worked it out as long as he said he would do it as long as the chamber's involved. So we are as an advisory role, but we're running everything through the farmers market. So moving forward, the farmers market will be its own entity, but also running agritourism out of that one avenue, I guess you can say.
Okay, one more question. I see that the chamber is not requesting any money this year.
No, we are.
You are?
It's on our request.
Okay. I mean, same amount, not an
Yes.
increase. That's what I meant to say, no increase. So are there not funds available to help support this through the chamber, since
We've
you don't
already
need an
used
increase?
just chamber funds for those, as far as like our dues and different things like that. I mean, we have funds to help out with it. I've already told Jamie, any cost that is not covered by the farmers market, like that they can't cover as far as anything, or with the Ag and Art Tour, we're gonna make sure it happens, regardless, and make sure it's a good event. It's just that this entity has gotten to a point now, it should be its own thing. The chamber shouldn't be running the farmers market and the agritourism part of that.
I understand that, but since you haven't asked for the last couple of years, have not asked for an increase, it just would seem to me that maybe there's sufficient funds to help support this as well, because most everybody else asked for increases. So I'm just.
If
Okay.
needed, we absolutely will. Like I've already recruited, got us a $2,500 sponsor for the actual tour itself. They donated that to the chamber, but the check is gonna transfer over to the farmers market, and those funds will come out of there, because we've already paid for it. We've already paid for the cost of the actual tour itself, which is close to $2,800 out of our accounts. But yes, we have money that would be available to use if needed, but we're trying to get it paid for through sponsorships instead of having to just pay everything out of our pocket this year.
Okay.
And because we also are doing some other things tourism-wise that require some funds, which you'll see in a second.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Fees just keep going up, the cost of things. I mean, even the teachers, through the AgNR program, they almost doubled in the price they charged last year. So that's just something like, we're like, okay, so Gene had the money last year for that, but now this year we would need twice as much for that. And so it just kind of just keeps snowballing.
Yes, and that's very expensive.
I got a question for our administration. Does this fall within the guidelines of hospitality or, I forgot the name of that tax? Accommodations tax?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay.
So at the next council meeting, we'll be presenting the application that anyone who wants to request funds from those accounts to ensure that they meet the requirements, but this definitely does.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Anyone
we're
else?
requesting from the there we go, what she said. That's where we're asking for the money to come from.
Anyone else? Thank you very much for your presentation.
American Red Cross. We'll move on. Behavioral Health Service.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Members of council, thank you for this opportunity that you've given me to come and present our budget for tonight. As you all know, we are a nonprofit organization that's designated by the council, Fairfield County Council, over 43 years ago, to be the sole authority for substance use services here in Fairfield County. We provide confidential services, treatment services to adolescents and adults in this county, regardless of their ability to pay for those services. Certainly in those 43 years, in that time span, our organization has evolved tremendously. We have expanded in so many ways, including the number of clients that we've served since day one of inception, to include an array of services that we offer for adolescents, adults, and families along the continuum of prevention, treatment, and recovery services. We have expanded our partnerships over the years because we realize that it's extremely important for us to have these partnerships, because many folks that come through our doors, they need more than just substance use services. They need us to partner and broker services with other organizations in this community. We have expanded the number of highly trained staff that we have. Years ago, it used to be that if you just had the passion to do this kind of work, you could do it, and many people did it, and they did it very well. But over the years, as funding has become more important and more diverse, many of those funders require you to have certain types of training, and we have been able to amass those high-level trainings in our organization. And most importantly, we have been able to achieve a new location, as you all know. I'm very proud of that. After 15 years of pursuing it, we finally were able to kind of do that, and with many different supports, including county council, including the state government, including our local folks here in the county. And we're very proud of that because of the where we are. It also offers that confidentiality services for the clients that we serve. Many of these have been for the betterment of our clients, all these tremendous successes, and we intend on continuing that down the road. We are asking for the council to support us with a $77,000 allotment or appropriation for this year. It's a slight increase from last year, but it's still, I feel like, a very reasonable amount that we are asking for you tonight. Over the years, we have been able to get many diverse fundings. However, as I often kind of say, that funding that we get oftentimes is very designated for a specific drug that we have to work towards or a specific population, and often, more often than not, it only allows us to be able to, it does not include administrative and program supports that we so desperately need. A lot of time, case in point, many of the federal dollars that we're getting, we have been getting a small percentage of administrative support, about 10%. As of this year, that has reduced from 10 to 7.5% this year and going down to 5% next year. There's no way you can continue to do all the work you do across the board with so many services, being the sole authority for the entire county without having administrative and program support. And as I said, even though we have diverse funding, oftentimes it does not have that extra administrative and financial support that we need. And so council has been extremely important to us over the years to help us gain that funding, to be able to support the services that we have, and as well as being able to have the staff and the qualified staff that we need. That's another issue, because as we know, especially COVID, it has impacted all of the workforce systems, and it takes a lot to really hire great quality people, and we need that kind of support. But the funding that we're asking for you tonight would help us support many of our programs that we provide for those who get DUIs in the community. We are the sole authority for providing that in our county. Services that support our youth, particularly those who, many of them have Medicaid, but some of them don't. Some of their families don't. Many people that we serve that are in detention centers or have some sort of drug charge or criminal record, oftentimes they don't have any form of payment, and we have to serve folks because of federal dollars that we receive. We cannot turn anyone away. So those funds that we get from council, it helps us leverage our budget, really, to be able to provide those services for staff as we move forward. We don't just do work in the community. All of our work is based on data. Prevention services that we provide in the schools, in the communities, in the churches, evidence-based programs, the services that we provide for treatment services, whether it's medication-assisted treatment for those who have opioid disorders, all of those is backed up by data. And so we're asking not only council to provide us with that $77,000 to help us continue the great work that we've been doing with your support, but also, as you see in our letter, we are asking you also to forgive that 25-year loan that you all have with us to help us build our facility. We have no intentions of leaving. It is a loan. If we don't stay in that facility, if we sell the facility, you have to get that money back that you gave to us. We have no intentions of doing it. We've been here for over 40-some years, and you just having that over our head is just one of the things that we don't want to do. And we're looking for your support to kind of help us do that, to forgive that 25-year loan, because we have no intentions of selling our facility or leaving our facility, because there's still much more work for us to do in the county. And as I said, we need your help in getting it done. So thank you. I'll certainly take any questions that you may have.
Question, council?
Has administration made any recommendations as of yet?
We're actually just taking this opportunity to let all of council hear the requests and then get back with you with our recommendations.
Thank you.
What is the DUI relicensing program?
DUI is driving under the influence.
Yeah.
So in our state, we are one of 31 providers across the state. And according to DUI law, anyone who gets a DUI, driving under the influence, particularly if there's an informed consent or they refuse to blow, they have to get their license back. I think prior to 2009, if you didn't want your license, you didn't have to go. But 2009, the law was changed where if you had that charge, you have to go through a program dictated by DMV, not by my office. We get that confused quite often, or folks get that confused quite often. But we provide a program. There's a program that folks have to go through, and based on that program, they get an assessment. So it's not a cookie cutter type thing, but they get an assessment. That assessment drives everything. It determines whether or not they only need the educational portion, which is about 16 hours of education that they have to get, about $500 that they have to pay. If it determines, that assessment determines that they need more than just education, they need treatment based on maybe they've had multiple offenses of DUI. Maybe they have actual other drug use, and it's not often just the alcohol. Once we do that assessment, we do drug tests. If they have a history of using marijuana, cocaine, or what have you, and certainly if they have a current use of that, then they may have to get treatment. In that case, they don't go through the educational program, they actually go through treatment, and that's a coordinated effort between the council and those clients. And that cost can be no more than $2,000. And so, as I said, it's dictated by law, dictated by DMV, but that is a program that we provide in Fairfield County, and there are other organizations across the state that provide that same program for those offenders that get DUI.
Is that $33,000? Is that up any for that amount from this, the $62,000? Is what part of that
It's
It's
extremely,
going
I don't
up.
have the exact number, but that is a very high cost. Because in actuality, our entire system was created because of the alcohol use across the state. And DUIs was probably the number one reason why our systems were created. So it continues to be the number one issue that folks see us. And the amount of money that it costs us is really far greater than what I'm asking the council for. And I can certainly get those numbers for you, but that is a portion that will help. Because clients do pay if they have the ability to pay. We require them to pay. If they don't have the ability to pay, even with that, we have to go through a process where they might go through community service. Well, we don't have very many of doing that, but at the same time, like I said, they pay into it. But there are times where folks do not have the ability to pay, and we have to write it off, like we do some of the other costs. But I can certainly get that to you at a later time.
So the prevention kind of goes along with that, the prevention and the DUI thing. Preventing it is going to school.
Prevention addresses everything that we do in the office. So it could be trying to prevent someone from getting alcohol use disorder or using alcohol to prevent them from driving drunk and getting a DUI. It involves us doing just evidence-based programs in the schools and the communities because of the statistics. Data tells us and have been telling us that if we can prevent our young people from using particularly tobacco and alcohol before those ages that are out there, 21 for alcohol, 18 for tobacco, if we can prevent them from using those drugs because they're often seen as the gateway to other use. If we can prevent them from using those drugs at a young age, and certainly by the time they reach those ages, then they will either not use, or if they do, they won't become addicted. And that's where the problem lies. And so we spend a lot of time across the nation on prevention efforts, but it addresses many different facets of what we do in not only our organization, but across the nation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Kennedy, could you elaborate some more on your request for the county to forgive some funds?
Sure. So when we built our facility 4 years ago, we actually received some funding from the county. And that was a request that I had to have a conversation with not only the council, but at least the chairman at that time, Councilman Smith at the time. We actually got all the funding from the state. But when that conversation we had, I wanted to make sure that the county was represented in what we were doing, because I had known another county in another area that had gotten their county council to also give them funds. And so we had that conversation, and because of the work we do, Councilman Billy Smith really agreed, and he got other councils to agree as well to give us some funding. As I said, we got all the money that we needed from the state, but I ended up giving money back because the council ended up putting monies up, and I wanted that support to kind of be known, actually, from the community that the council was supporting our organization in getting a new facility. So I ended up giving money back to the state for that regard, so that another agency could have use of the funds that was not getting support from their council. And that was the reason. When we created that, it was created as a loan that as long as we stayed in the building for 25 years, that we did not have to pay that loan back. But if we did, we would have to pay that portion back from the council. And as I said, we don't have any intentions of leaving, closing down, shutting down. In fact, the way things are going with drug use, particularly opioids, we may even be trying to expand somewhere down the line, which we will try to apply for funding through the state again. But that's what I'm asking for from the council, to forgive that 25-year loan agreement that we have in place right now.
Do we know how much that amount is?
I cannot remember at this moment. I think it was around, I can't remember. I do have the numbers at the office, but I can't remember because I got too many numbers in my head at the moment.
But you'll get us
It was over 200,000, let me just put it that way. I know it was over 200,000, I just can't remember the exact number.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Appreciate you.
Central Midlands Council of Governments. Council. Central Midlands is a regional due that we pay, and their information is in the packets.
Central South Carolina Alliance.
Good evening, members of council. For those that have not met yet, I'm Nelson Lindsay. I'm the relatively new president and CEO of the Central SC Alliance. I say relatively, I've been here a year and a half. I'm not new to the region though, having previously been in Kershaw County, Richland County, and the South Carolina Department of Commerce. I'm very familiar with the area. And since I'm new, and some of you are as well, I thought I'd give you a quick overview of who we are and what we do, and then our budget request. So we are a 501c3 public-private partnership founded in 1994, and Fairfield County is a founding member. So we're coming up on our 30th year together. And we're a regional economic development organization representing the city of Columbia and the 8 surrounding counties. So Fairfield, Richland, Lexington, Newberry, Kershaw, Calhoun, Orangeburg, and Clarendon. And we provide 4 primary services for you and your fellow counties. First is marketing. We represent, or we are showing the world the Central SC Alliance, who we are, what we are, and why it's a good place to do business. And we do that through websites and social media to get the word out about our area and why it's a good place to locate. So we do marketing as one. Second is lead generation. So we're out there trying to find those companies that have a project to locate a new facility somewhere in the world. And again, we do that both in the US and we do that internationally. And we do it a variety of ways. We have companies that call on companies around the world to find those businesses that are looking for a new home. We go to trade shows, we do mission trips. And so the idea is just to find that needle in the haystack of companies that need a new location. And then we provide research for our counties and for those companies looking at our region, because we provide them the information they need in order to make an informed business decision, whether that's workforce stats or demographics, taxes, labor, whatever it may be. We provide them the information so that they can make a good decision. And then we do, the last service is project management. And we do this a little different depending on the county. Some counties need more help, and some counties need less, just depending on the resources they have within their own economic development office. But we assist them in the process of helping companies make that decision. For any of them, we provide fee in lieu of tax analysis. So for when you're offering incentives, we can give you an illustration of what that incentive looks like. We can do cost-benefit analysis, again, make sure that the county is offering a good deal, or will be a good deal from your standpoint. So those are the 4 services that we provide our member counties: marketing, lead generation, research, and project management. So just to give you a quick update, I'm sure you've heard we're having a very good year so far this quarter, with Scout Motors leading the way. So we're already in the first quarter at $2.5 billion in capital investment and 4,500 jobs. Capital investment's a record breaker. We've never had anything of that size, as you can imagine. And Fairfield County is well situated geographically to take advantage of that, because you're only 10 miles from that site. So when the supplier companies start to look, they'll be looking in your area and your industrial parks and your industrial buildings. So again, good start to the year. Our request this year is the same as it's been for 30 years, $72,000. We have never asked for more. I'm not saying we never will, but we're still asking for the same, and that is the same amount that every county pays. That's how it's been set up for all these years, and that's how it will be, at least for the near term. So we appreciate your past support. We hope we can continue to count on your support this year, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Since thank you so much for talking a little bit about Scout Motors. Since I know you do the marketing analysis and we know about the 4,500 jobs that are expected, what's the other amount for suppliers and others that's estimated for this area?
They really haven't provided that information in terms of specific numbers because they're going to look at it a couple of different ways. One is existing companies in South Carolina in the automotive sector. That's one of the reasons why they chose South Carolina for the existing supply chain here. Some of them will be on the site, they have to be right there, and then some will be in the region. But we don't have, it's too early to say how many jobs that supply chain would need.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, council. I actually brought some extra forms because I wasn't so sure if y'all had them, but anyway, so I have some extra paper. But I'm gonna try to keep this brief. Our chamber, like I think you all know this, we do a lot of stuff throughout the county. We wear a bunch of different hats. One of the things, just to follow up with what the farmers market and stuff was talking about, again, the farmers market's gotten to a point where it needs to be out from under the chamber, needs to be its own entity, needs someone that can actually run it and make everyday decisions. And we've been helping them a lot with actually getting on their feet and actually turning that into a huge plus for Fairfield County and continue to grow that, which is done steadily over the years. And we're continuing to adding different things for it. We're also still heavily involved with them. Just to give you a few numbers, like the chamber right now, we do 17 events, major events this year. Those 17 events will draw over 40,000 people, which is actually 200% of our county's population. And which is pretty good rate considering the amount that we spend on those 17 events versus what the return we get on it. Yes, ma'am.
Can you slow down just a little bit?
I'm sorry, I talk fast.
That's okay. That's okay.
Laura's over there telling me to stop talking, so I can't help it. But yes, going back to the question that Dan asked about the like the funding and stuff like that. So we are also seeing some of the issues of inflation as well with every event that we do. But we have been able to draw more sponsorships from organizations because a lot of the organizations are seeing the positive things that we do. I just want to be a part of it. So we've had more and more companies hit us up, say, hey, can we sponsor this? Can we sponsor this? So fortunately, we can still we can do more without having to increase our ask from the council at this time. So that was one of my things, is to try to keep it without having to go up with everything that the county is going through right now. So like I said, we do all the events in the county. We also, one of the big things that we want to do this year is we've never had a big comprehensive tourism push. And tourism is basically anything that's 50 miles out. So local advertising is not really considered tourism promotion. What we'd like to do is expand that reach. And we're at the point now, as far as Fairfield County goes, the chamber was actually very heavily involved with the procuring of the EPA grant that the county just got. And a lot of that is focused on the nature-based tourism and for downtown revitalization, which are two areas that we work very hard on already. But we were heavily involved with that process. What we'd like to do is take this momentum and expand it and show other folks. Basically, what we want to do is open up Fairfield County to the world. And right now, we do market pretty well around here, but what we want to do is expand that marketing process. We've gotten to the point where I'm actually going through the process of vetting firms right now, marketing firms, that will help us formulate a new plan to actually spread that information. One of the things that we've already started working on is a Finding Fairfield designated site. So this year we did our first comprehensive visitors guide. Well, this past year, we did our first comprehensive visitors guide that we've never had. In the past, we've always had a bunch of little brochures and things. We've completely overhauled the look that we put out to the rest of the state at the visitor centers, the the visitors guides will be around the county. And we're going to add to that by adding, we're in the process of purchasing kiosks that will go around the county to the different spots, like our big major, we're starting off with 5, so our big recreation sites, they will have our visitors guides. So when people visit Fairfield County, which a lot of those sites get a lot of visitors, they'll be able to find out what else is going on in Fairfield County as far as restaurants, stores to go to, different things like that. But we also are we're working on, actually right now, is building a tourism designated only website. And that's going to be a Finding Fairfield website where basically it just deals with tourism. We have all that stuff on our website. There's a lot of it on the county website already, but what we want to do is actually take and the idea of, we got to get more digital. So the idea of like an app, I'm not a big fan of that. That's been talked about. An app is just not, it's not great. But what we're doing is with the, say, an example of the walking tours that we've done, that we retooled in the last couple of years working with Fairfield 4, the Historical Society, the museum, all that kind of stuff. We're adding new signs that will have QR codes. So when you take your phone, you can scan that QR code. It'll automatically bring up all the information for that site that you're at, but it'll also show you what's near you as well. So basically it helps us catch up to the digital age of marketing in our world, which is just very important. Those are some of the things. Adding advertising, expanding the relationships that we have already built with, like the Free Times that did our visitors guide, expanding that to, using their marketing platform to get the word out about what we have. When we bring folks to Fairfield County, they love what they see. Like the EPA couldn't brag enough about it. We want to make sure we take that momentum and keep pushing it forward. And so those are some of the things that we want to push this year and add to what we already do. Throughout the county. My time is up, so I'll take any questions. I know I talk a lot, my apologies.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. You answered everything.
Good Lord, I tell you. I was ready to answer a question. Y'all have a great night.
Chameleon Inspirations Learning Center.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Council. I'm here representing Clemson University Cooperative Extension Service. It is located in every county throughout South Carolina, and Extension Service is in pretty much every county throughout the country through their land-grant universities. So we offer education based on a variety of topics, including health and nutrition, forestry and natural resources, horticulture, agriculture, and youth development, 4-H. So we offer all kinds of programs in those areas, from webinars and in-person workshops to handouts and other sources you can access, as well as we employ agents who cover those areas, and it's their specialty. So if you have questions regarding holes in your lawn or the quality of your pond, you can come and ask us for free, and if need be, we can run minimal cost testing as well. So I am here as the 4-H agent. So many of these agents cover several counties. My name's Stephanie. I am the Fairfield County Coordinator, as well as the 4-H agent. So I deal with K through 12 youth, specifically located in Fairfield County. So I work in the schools, I work with after-school programs already established, and I do independent after-school activities to offer hands-on educational opportunities for those students. So we are asking for our $40,000 budget request and asking for the full allotment of that. And that money goes towards the salary of the employees and fringe, as well as program supplies. So program supplies is a really broad term, but essentially that's covering about everything. So if a school wanted a program on, say, embryology, where they're raising chicken eggs, I would provide through 4-H funding via the county the eggs provided to them, the incubator supplies, all of the associated supplies, and the time and energy to prep, provide programming, and cleanup of that supplies. And that's one example. We do all kinds of programs, whether that's raising butterflies. I just did a moon phase cookies activity, all kinds of stuff. So that's where that money is going, so that we can provide no-cost opportunities to the school and no-cost or minimal-cost activities to any youth throughout the county that are interested in participating. And that's all I have for you right now, if you have any questions.
How many students do you kind of
How many
interact?
Students? It depends on the method we're talking about. In schools, right now I'm pretty busy. I'm going into, for example, tomorrow I'm going into the High School Career and Technology Center, and I'll see a classroom. On Friday, I've got 3 classrooms at the Midland STEM Institute, so several hundred students a year. And so we try to hit a 6-hour mark with them, so it's not just a go in, go out, that was a cool field trip. We're in for a deeper youth development experience. So to be able to count them, such as on the sheet we gave you, the PSA impact report, to count those students, they need to have had 6 hours of direct engagement, either with myself or through direct instructional engagement given to their teachers or parents or what have you.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much, Council.
Columbia Area Mental Health.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Hug, Executive Director of the Columbia Area Mental Health Center. I'm very new to this position, have only been in it for 2 months, but I've been with the center for 20 years. Our center provides all outpatient mental health services for Richland and Fairfield counties. Our mental health center began providing services in Fairfield County in 1965, with full clinic services beginning in 1977. In calendar year 22, the Fairfield Mental Health Clinic served approximately 326 adults and 111 children. The children are seen both in our clinic and in the school setting. Combined, there were over 3,300 individual services provided to the residents of Fairfield County. These services include mental health assessments, psychiatric medical assessments, medication administration, case management, psychosocial rehabilitation services, crisis services, and individual and family therapies. These services are all provided to assist with the overall psychiatric stability. Our clinic employs administrative staff, mental health clinicians, psychiatrists, and a nurse. We are a clinic that does provide services to individuals regardless of their ability to pay. Currently, approximately 11% of the individuals receiving services in our clinic have no insurance at all. We also work closely with the Fairfield County Probate Court when emergent care or hospitalization of an individual is needed. Crisis services are also available 24 hours, 7 days a week by our center's mobile crisis team, and mobile crisis responses are available for any resident of Fairfield County. Our budget request is for $70,000 to help support staff and primarily for our building and clinic expenses. Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
I may have missed it, but the rental, $55,000, what is that for, the rental?
It goes towards our building expenses. Where our clinic is located, we have to pay rent. We don't own the building.
Okay, you're talking so soft, I couldn't understand what you were saying. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for your.
Thank you.
Communities and schools.
Good evening, County Council. Just want to come before you and thank you all for allowing us to be here today. My name is Latasha Taste, and I'm the State Director of Strategic Partnerships. I'm going to tell you a little bit about community schools, and we do have some representatives here that would like to say some remarks. And we are providing to you our recent annual report to just share a little bit more about our work in the community and also across the state. Communities and Schools, we're a 501c3 nonprofit public organization, and we have existed in South Carolina for over 30 years. Our mission is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to achieve in life and stay in school. Communities and Schools, we are the leading provider of integrated student supports across South Carolina and across the nation. And we do the work by creating access to educational supports and critical resources like food, housing, healthcare, and counseling. We currently provide integrated student supports to 38 Title I public schools across 7 counties in South Carolina, which includes Fairfield, Richland, Lexington, Charleston, Berkeley, Hampton, Greenville, and the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice. And we currently deploy 44 site coordinators that work within those schools. We have a small classroom space where students come and receive intervention daily, weekly, or however they need it for their specific case. We see these students throughout the full school year. I do have with me my colleague, Melissa Getz, who is in the new role of the Director of Development. Melissa is going to share a little bit more about our allocation requests and to give you all a little bit more insight into our partnerships that we've had in Fairfield County for the past 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Latasha. Good evening. I'm going to be quick because we have 3 minutes. We're requesting $15,000 to support the Communities and Schools program at Fairfield Elementary School, Fairfield Middle School, and Fairfield Central High School. With those dollars, we will be able to provide services to 1,400 students school-wide, and then to between 120 and 140 students one-on-one, so case-managed students and families. We have with us today Dr. J.R. Green. Our partnerships are how we thrive and survive and run our programs, and so really just want to give him a chance to speak about the program in Fairfield County School District. And then we also have Shadarius Hopkins, who is our site coordinator at Fairfield Central High School and also a product of Fairfield County Public Schools. So Dr. Green, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. It is a pleasure to be here with Communities in Schools today. As she said, we have been in a partnership with Communities in Schools for the past 2 years, and now we'll expand that partnership to Fairfield Elementary School. So we have a partnership at Fairfield Central High School, Fairfield Middle School, and by next year, Fairfield Elementary School. And it's really a quite simple concept. When we think about what factors are necessary for a student to maximize his or her potential, I know you all can think of the same things: safety, support, security, stability. But the next question is, do all students have that? And I think that the honest answer is that they do not. And so what do we do for students that do not have those factors that may exist in my home or Ms. Johnson's home or Mr. Kennedy's home? Well, someone has to fill in the gap. And so we're excited about the partnership because Communities and Schools has been willing to support our students to fill in that gap. The reality is that we can't change the trajectory of a young person only by focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic. That is essential. But there are many other components to their success, as she talked about earlier. And as a function, they have entered into partnership with us. You know, we have been really discussing these concepts of community schooling and whole child education for the last several years. And if we are going to change the trajectory of our community, we are going to have to change the trajectory of the people who reside in our community. And it will take efforts of a lot of people to make that happen. And so I support their effort to try and leverage partnership with others in addition to the partnerships that they have with the Fairfield County School District. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Shadarius Hopkins. I'm the site coordinator at Fairfield Central High School. I work with a caseload of 50 students. doing Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Our Tier 2 service is a small group. We have two groups, our Brotherhood and our Sisterhood Mentor Group, where we talk about life skills, talk about communication skills, how to conduct an interview, how to dress for an interview. This month, we're talking about finances, how to save money,
I'm
talking
sorry.
about how to budget.
I'm so sorry, excuse me, but the time is up. Sorry, thank you. Any questions from council?
I have one. Have any of these funds been requested from the schools?
Yeah, so actually the school district commits an amount to this partnership. Now what Communities in School does is they go out and try and secure grant money and other partnerships to try and match what we are providing in the schools. So they aren't necessarily, the funds they're requesting from you are different from the funds that the district will commit as a function of this partnership. And I tell you, what the district will commit is much, much greater than what they're asking from the council.
So how much are y'all committing?
We committed $60,000 last year to the partnership.
From the school funds?
From the school, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Green. To give a little bit of insight, how we operate is on a braided revenue funding model. We do ask that each of our community partners come in with a contribution to support a school. So the average cost to support one school, we have 38 school partnerships. So the cost can be between $90,000 to $110,000. That plays for Shadarius, Mr. Hopkins' position, any of our personnel, HR, and me and Melissa working in development, talking to our partnership foundations, Dominion Energy, Boeing, others that come in and make a contribution. So that can look like, if we're going in a new school community, in a new feeder pattern, that amount can start between $120,000 and $60,000. And we do our part by bringing in a big load of that because we know that that work is boots on the ground and showing our data, but we ask that our constituents and our other community members to also bring in their amount in support until we build up the program where we can really see the growth in the work of the students. So it is a braided revenue model where there's a third from each partnerships to come in and help close the gap on the funding to support the work in that school.
Thank you very much. Officer, you had a question? Thank you very much.
And I know we didn't have enough time for Mr. Hopkins to speak, but we will be hosting a future program tour that we would love to invite you to one of our school sites where you can learn a little bit more about his work in the classroom with students. So just thank you for your time and your consideration.
Department of Social Services. Disabilities and Special Needs.
Good evening. Good evening, Council. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be here with you today. This is the 40th year that the Fairfield County Disabilities and Special Needs has been providing opportunities for families and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, including autism spectrum disorder, head and spinal cord injuries, residing in Fairfield County. We serve 40 people in our residential program, and we provide services to 46 folks receiving vocational services. We are requesting $55,000 to be used for our vocational services or our day program, and that would be to provide transportation cost. And we provide transportation to service recipients living in the community with their families, working in our workshop and enclave settings, providing employment opportunities Monday through Friday between the hours of 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. The operation of this program is important to our families as it allows parents and guardians to be able to go to work as opposed to having to stay home knowing that their loved ones are safe and involved in meaningful activities. Most importantly, having a job and a purpose provides a sense of accomplishment to those who so desperately want to work with the non-disabled population. Currently, we're providing services to Fairfield County Partnership, operating the recycling site at Jenkinsville. We provide janitorial services at the Fairfield County DHEC Health Department Complex. And we have folks that are working Palmetto Imaging Technology, churches, and we also have a mobile yard crew. We're very active in the community, promoting awareness through talent shows. We have an upcoming golf tournament, and we currently have a cookbook fundraiser. We're also working, developing a park, which is going to be about 5 acres directly behind our facility at West Washington Street. And we're hopefully going to be able to break ground this fall, which is going to be wonderful. We're looking at having 3 phases of our park. The first one with walking trails, the second one with a pavilion to be able to have entertainment at our venue, and then also gardens with raised beds for the handicapped folks that we provide services to. I did include in your packet not only the funding request, but a newsletter, a flyer of our agency to let you know what we're doing. And tonight I also brought a little that would include a copy of our latest cookbook that's coming out for sale. So there's some recipes in there. There's a flyer for our upcoming golf tournament, some hand sanitizer, and a few little other things that you might like. But just wanted to keep you abreast of some of the things that we're doing out there. Do you have any questions for me for the funding request?
Did y'all do the recipes, or you gathered them up?
We did. We gathered them from staff and family members. Yes, we did. We are a very active agency. You probably have seen our folks all over the community. They really just want to be a part of the community and be like everybody else. And so that's what we really strive to do. Our community training homes promote independence, and the folks that are able to get out and work on enclaves or have meaningful independent employment opportunities are really thriving.
I think you're doing a wonderful job, because those folks, that, like you say, they just want to be included, because they're just like everybody else. I mean, just give them a chance. That's all you got to do. Thank you.
We're so appreciative of the support of Fairfield County Council. The Fairfield County Disabilities and Special Needs Board and Fairfield County Council have been awarded the Golden Palmetto Award by the State Department of Disabilities and Special Needs more than any other disability board in the state, based on the collaborative efforts that we have. So we really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Laura, how long have you been working with special needs and disabilities?
I have been there 33 years, and I don't know how that happened since I'm only 29.
Well, thank you. You do.
March was 33 years.
Okay. Well, I know you do a great job. How many do you know, and you might have said this and I couldn't hear you, but how many special needs citizens do y'all work with on an annual basis?
We provide services to 40 folks with disabilities in our community training homes, and we have currently 46 in our vocational program.
Okay. Well, y'all do a great job. I want to tell you, thank you for this girly bag. I got a gift from my wife. That's nice.
Your wife will
I can't cook either, so that's good.
enjoy that. And if you would indulge me for just one other moment, there's a quick thing I'd like to share, if it's okay. I just wanted to make you aware that there is a Senate bill out there called Senate Bill 602, and that recently came to light. And our agency was created by county ordinance. What this bill is trying to do is to put the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs under the governor's cabinet. And that's where we receive the majority of our funding from. But however, the caveat to that is they want to take control of the local Disability and Special Needs Board, their properties, and make us state employees. So we have worked very hard to acquire, what we have, and would really like to remain independent and part of the county. I see this as not being a good thing for people with developmental disabilities. I feel like they would get lost in the shuffle with other larger state agencies. And as I continue to get information, I'll keep Ms. Green informed as our liaison to Fairfield County Council, but I thought it was very important and wanted to make you aware. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you for your service.
Eau Claire Cooperative Health Care.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Lee Tan. I'm the Public Affairs Manager for Eau Claire Cooperative Health. We do business as Cooperative Health. And with me is Fairfield's own Jennifer Glover Hawkins, our Director of Public Relations. We take great pride in our mission to provide accessible, compassionate, and high-quality health care in the spirit of the Good Samaritan. We are a nonprofit community health center that provides health care services for approximately 57,000 patients across 4 Midlands counties, including here in Fairfield. We were founded in 1981, which is the same year I was born, so I'd like to call that a very good year. We operate 31 convenient sites across those counties, and including a state-of-the-art mobile unit. In Fairfield County, we operate 4 sites, 3 fixed sites and 1 school-based site. Those sites are in Ridgeway, Winsboro, and also Jenkinsville, with a school-based site at the McCory-Liston School of Technology. We offer a variety of services, including pediatrics, adult and internal medicine, chronic disease management, women's health, including OBGYN, behavioral health services. We've integrated behavioral health across all 31 of our sites because that's a very big recognized need within all the communities we serve. We also have pharmacy services with convenient pickup and delivery options, dental at our Ridgeway sites available to patients, and also podiatry. I recently stepped on my son's toy train, so I saw the podiatrists there, and they're excellent, I must say. And most recently, we onboarded vision services through a partnership with Advantage Eye Care in Northeast Columbia, which is nearby. One great thing about us is we accept all patients regardless of their ability to pay our insurance status. So about 48% of our patients are Medicaid, 19% are uninsured, 12% are Medicare, and approximately 21% of our patients are privately insured, which I think really speaks to the level of care in terms of quality that we provide for our patients, because those patients could go anywhere they want but choose Cooperative Health as their medical home. So this year, we're humbly asking Council to consider a funding request of $100,000. $15,600 of that will go to supplement the salary of our nurse practitioner, including salary and fringe. $9,400 of that will go toward printing and advertising costs, and $75,000 will go to outreach and awareness in the Fairfield County communities we serve. At this time, I'll be happy to take any questions, and thank you for your time and consideration.
Any questions, Council? Mr. Roseborough.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do Eau Claire offer urgent care?
No, not
part of
urgent
your
care. We offer primary care, based on appointments. We don't really do any kind of emergency catastrophic care.
Okay, not urgent care, like that's not emergency, but like some counties have like 24-hour urgent care, not emergency, but urgent. Okay.
No, we typically operate, and the site's different by hours, but mostly like an 8:30 to 5 schedule. Now, there are some programs we offer that have extended hours, but not any kind of 24/7 facility that we operate. And Jennifer, I believe you have some information for them.
I think, right, so they passed it out, but we do want to recognize that we are actually strategically located.
Step to the mic, please.
I do want to say that we are strategically located in all of the areas of Fairfield County. Most of the individuals that we serve are in rural areas where transportation is an issue. So we extended our services out to Blackjack Baptist Church, where they offer what they call a kiosk machine, where individuals now are able to come and see a provider through a digital device, and that's every Tuesday from 9 until 12. The residents of Fairfield County, it's at no cost. So as they come to the kiosk, whereas the $25 was extended, now Cooperative Health is paying for that particular visit, not to mention the transportation, as well as a partnership with Hawthorne Pharmacy, where they're able to get their medications for free.
Can I ask a question, please? So you say there's one in Jenkins-ville?
Yes.
Correct.
Lake Monticello.
Right.
So there's a primary care in Lake
But there's no one up towards Feasterville? There's nothing?
No, but we do offer transportation. So individuals who are in the network would like to see one of our medical providers, we do pay for transportation to get them where they need to go.
Are they aware of this?
Excuse me?
Are they aware of this? Are they aware of this?
That's part of why we're asking for the funding, so that we can make individuals of Fairfield County aware of the services that we're offering.
Okay.
We'll deploy our outreach team in order to reach more communities in Fairfield County with this funding, just to make them aware of the various services and options for coverage that we can provide.
And if you notice on the budget, we don't ask for a lot when it comes to marketing, because we believe in boots on the ground. Unfortunately, we haven't reached the age where the television is able to give us health care and speak back to us from a digital standpoint. So we believe that if people are able to speak to someone, it's the most important way of advertising. You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Fairfield Health Department.
Good evening, council members. My name is Rich Timmons. I'm the financial manager for the Fairfield Health Department. We are under the umbrella of DHEC, and so as part of our health region of 12 counties, we provide preventative and community health services to about 2,700 citizens of Fairfield County each year. And so our budget request of $50,730, 70% of that is going to be for our site manager and our site admin team lead, and then the remainder is for operations in the building, such as our phone system and our courier mail service that we have. So it's a level funding request from previous years, and so with that, I'll be glad to take any questions.
I don't think I heard you. Could you tell me what that courier service is again, please?
So that's a service we have where we can send mail amongst the different health departments within the state. It's a DHEC specific service.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Good Samaritan House. Health and Human Services Indigent Care Council. This is an annual contribution required by the Medically Indigent Assistance Act. The calculation is based on various statistics, such as personal income, property values, indigent hospital charges, etc. The amount for fiscal year '24 is an estimate, and we haven't received the letter. Usually we receive it later in the year. I was going to call the library next. Are we finished with indigent care?
Just noticed one thing on the list regarding indigent care. It seems as if it isn't changing, that isn't, when you go to the fiscal year increase or decrease, it looks as if that is just a zero. That should be a zero.
Okay. Thank you for the notation. Next, we will have Fairfield County Library. Love never fails.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed an honor to be here tonight to request funding for Love Never Fails. I am Reginald Boyd, President and founder. COVID and the pandemic changed the world as we know it. Many of us lost family and friends. Social distancing became a way of life. We all suffered, economically, mentally, and spiritually. Some of us are still suffering to this day. If we, the adults, are suffering, what about the children? Many of us saw firsthand their way of learning change. Their way of interacting with their peers changed. We saw the narrative of disadvantaged children change. They all became disadvantaged. It seemed like every time we turned around, there were violent crimes being committed here in our own backyard. This ain't Chicago. This ain't New York. This ain't Los Angeles. This is Fairfield County, our county. And we ain't going to sit back and just watch this happen. 2 years ago, members of our county, including our sheriff, all gathered to sit down and figure out the best ways as a community to eradicate or alleviate this plague that has been plaguing our youth. So we all took up a donation and we gave it to the sheriff. He kept it for us, and it's safe until we could become a legal 501c3 organization, and we were able to put the money into a bank account. From the beginning, we wanted everyone to know that we were trustworthy, that we are honest and filled with integrity. We wanted no one to question our motives. Our mission is to build a community based on love, faith, and diversity, and support with one goal in mind: building future leaders. We have built many alliances in the last 2 years, one with the sheriff's office, one with the school district, Pastor Hollis here with Shiloh First Independent Church, Mr. Vernon Kenny with Fairfield Behavioral Health. There is no one way of solving this problem. We use all the resources available to us to bridge the gap between Fairfield County and its youth. We've hosted several mental health seminars. We have implemented a mentoring program. We took them to see the Firefly page. We took them to Dave & Buster's. In addition, scholarships was given to 7 graduating seniors last year, $500 scholarships. The 12th of April, this month right here, we're taking 40 students to the State House for a tour, all in an attempt to show our youth that we care about them and their well-being. These children are our future, and we have a responsibility as a community to make sure that they have a solid foundation to build on, love and support. All the funds, the $10,000 that we are requesting, will be earmarked and specifically used as was requested. Once again, I thank you for the opportunity to come before this blessed council and request funding for these young leaders of tomorrow.
Good evening, council. I would just like to let y'all know that I support Love Never Fails. They've done a great job in our community. When we're having a lot of issues going on, they've gone out in the community and actually gone visited some of the neighborhoods where we had some problems. And not only the children, but they've also met with the parents. They do educational classes for parents, crisis intervention, and several other classes that they put on. So they really do a lot in our community, and I ask y'all to support them also. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Pastor Hollins from Shiloh First Independent in the Greenbrier community. I joined Love Never Fails because they're in the business of giving like we are in the business of giving. And it's all about giving back to our community. So we look to help enhance and bring forth advancement for our youth in any way possible. And we are a part of you, and you are a part of us. So why not help us help each other?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say I appreciate all these gentlemen being willing to fill in the gap. Brother Hollis, I think his youngest son graduated from USC a couple of years ago. Brother Boyd doesn't have any young children, but they are interested in seeing our community improve. And so, we can sit around all day long and talk about how to make things better, but somebody got to put in the work. And these gentlemen are willing to put in the work. So I thank them for that.
I have a quick question. You have on there scholarships.
Yes,
What are going to be some of the criteria of the kids getting those scholarships?
Well, it's not academically based, it's merit based. We just ask them simple questions as, how are you planning to give back to the community once you graduate from college and stuff of that nature? We ask them about critical thinking issues. If they get involved in a situation where they get heated argument, we try to teach them different things of that nature. We want to know, how do they plan to be a hand to someone else and how to make the best decisions in life.
So it'll go towards a college education or
Yes, sir.
some kind of education. Okay. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep up the good work.
Making a difference. Palmetto Citizens Against Sexual Assault.
What is making a difference? I'm sorry.
It's an organization for, I believe it's mentoring children, that was an organization that Mr. Jeff Schaefer talked to me about.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're just supposed to hand out money, I guess.
Good evening, Vice Chair and Council members. My name is Charlene McGriff, Executive Director of Palmetto Citizens Against Sexual Assault, covering Lancaster, Chester, and Fairfield counties. At PICASA, we provide services to victims of sexual assault at no cost. Our services are funded through grants, federal and state and local funds. We service all age, races, genders, etc. We provide training to law enforcement, to the community and schools. We are nationally accredited Children's Advocate Center. We are asking for $10,000 for grant match. We've been here in the community for quite a while, and the council has been a great partner with PICASA, because in order to provide services to our victims of sexual assault, we have to have matching funds for grants, because all of our services are provided through grants at no cost, as I said, to the victim. But not only do we ask council for $10,000, let me tell you what we're doing for Fairfield County at PICASA. Because we are funded through grants and we have to have a partnership, In our last federal grant, what we call our rural grant, that works directly with Fairfield County and Chester County, we provide and pay for 3 positions within the county. We pay for a detective, law enforcement at the sheriff department, who's an investigator to help us with our investigative part. We also fund a solicitor. And those positions are funded for 3 years, right at $300,000 over those 3 years. So I believe in partnership, and if we're going to provide services to our victims, we have to have a strong partnership. We have to have training for the officers and the community to know what we're doing, and to know when we have a rape victim, especially children, that we know what we're doing and we know how to interview. And believe me, I know your struggles when you get ready to allocate money out, because I sit at the same seat you're sitting in Lancaster County. So I'm a member of Lancaster County Council, and we too are going through budget requests at this moment. So please, I ask you in the name of victims to help us provide services to victims by allocating us in this budget year $10,000. Any questions?
Any questions?
Approximately how many people do you serve here?
In Fairfield County, 67. The majority of them are children. And with the services of children, what we do is we provide them with forensic interviews, a sex assault exam, court accompaniment. We also provide services to that family, and we provide counseling to those children.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Public defender.
Good evening. I'm William Frick. I am the 6th Circuit Public Defender, meaning I'm the Chief Public Defender for Fairfield, Chester, and Lancaster counties. And just to echo what one of the previous speakers said, after the pandemic, we had a sizable increase in violent crime, particularly here in Fairfield County. I believe in 2021, we had 6 murders in Fairfield County, which exceeded what they had in Lancaster counties, the most we'd ever had. And that's just an example of the violent crime that we'd had. The reason why I mention that is because those are cases that take the longest to proceed through court. And our mission is to represent indigent folks charged with criminal offenses, anywhere from DUIs in magistrate court to bad checks to simple drug possessions to criminal sexual conducts to murder cases. We represent them. I've got 2 attorneys in our office here in Fairfield, 2 very experienced, seasoned attorneys, which I'm very thankful to have, because as we have these difficult cases, I need folks who can adequately and competently represent folks who are charged with these very serious things, and guide them through the process to get the best possible outcomes. I know you've got my request in there. You're probably looking side-eyed at me going, how in the world is he asking for this? The reason why is we have just become absolutely uncompetitive in our pay. We had a pay scale that started out, if you graduated, had a law degree and a license, meaning you'd passed the bar, we started you at $49,000. Now, when I started in 2001, my starting salary was $31,000. But times have changed over the last 20 years. We now have law clerks who are the lawyers who sit with circuit court judges, who are not necessarily even licensed to practice. They've taken the bar, but they're waiting bar results, who are starting at $60,000. To ask them to leave after a year serving with a judge and come work for us for $49,000, it's impossible. And trying to recruit, it's going to be the same thing you hear from the solicitor too. We're competing for the same talent pool. It is impossible to try to lure people in with the salary scale we had. And it's not endemic just to Fairfield County or Chester County or Lancaster County or rural South Carolina. It's all over the country. I saw a report over this weekend. They're having the same problem in Wisconsin. I know they have the same problem in Pennsylvania. It's trying to get people to come to rural counties to do this work. It's good, rewarding work, but while I try to encourage young lawyers that we are conveniently located between Rock Hill and Columbia, they tend to gravitate towards Rock Hill or Columbia and not come to Fairfield. The reason why I've got the increase that you see there is with the pay scale increase, obviously I've got to bump pay along and along. As I told you, I've got two very seasoned attorneys in my office. I can't very well start somebody new at $65,000 and then their pay is almost the same as that. They've been with me for 8 to 12 to one attorney has actually been doing this stuff for about 30 years. So I'm trying to get a pay scale that's commensurate along the board, all the way 10 plus. So that's why I'm asking for the increase. I certainly understand it's a big ask, but what I'm telling you is what I'm asking for is a need. It is not a want. This is purely so we can keep talented attorneys and staff in our office. That's why I'm asking for this. Questions, issues, concerns?
Any questions?
I tried to get Dr. Green to stay, come up here with me, but I can't get him to do anything anymore.
We appreciate you and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Railroad Museum.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello, council people. I'm Henry Neckemias. I am the treasurer of the South Carolina Railroad Museum. I, like everyone else there, is a volunteer. We are a nonprofit 501c3, and except for a part-time administrative person, everyone else is a volunteer. Interestingly, next year, 2024, will be the 40th anniversary of the Railroad Museum being here in Fairfield County. So that is something that we hope that we can celebrate a little bit. We are the only operating tourist railroad in the state of South Carolina. And I joke with people and say, if you want to ride a train, you either get up at 4 in the morning to go to Camden or Columbia to get on Amtrak, or you come to visit us, and we hope that people will continue to come. Some of you folks have spoken to me at length. Some have been over to visit. We'd love to have all of you come and visit. Maybe we can work something out with a group ride and let you see what we're doing there. We continue to strive to be a major tourist attraction and to bring folks into Fairfield County. That is really why we're asking for money to keep us going with that basic goal in mind. COVID was very hurtful to us, but we have been doing better and better, and ridership last year was up quite a bit from 2021, and we hope this year will be even better. We work well and continuously with the county, Wings and Wheels, Rock Around the Clock, the Big Grab. We have always tried to coordinate events with events that occur in the county. We run a free train Memorial Day, Saturday of Memorial Day for veterans, military active people, and their families, no charge. We have asked for $30,000 again. The money goes exclusively for maintenance and expenses of that sort. We're not using it for paying electric bills or phone bills or things like that. We use it for work on the locomotives, work on our heavy equipment like our backhoe and our forklift, work on the track. And for those of you that are not aware, a mile of railroad track has about 2,000 railroad ties if we were forced to replace all of them. They're now going for about $70 a piece. That would be about $140,000 to replace all the ties. Fortunately, we only replace the really decayed ties, so we've been able to do that in small doses. Currently, we're working on a project on the cut through Greenbrier. That needs track work. We're going to build a shelter at Greenbrier. We've gotten a lot of phone calls. It's supposed to rain on Saturday, and you're running Easter Bunny trains. What are you going to do? And what we do is put up tents and canopies, but it's not the same as having a permanent shelter. We'll build a 30 by 50 foot shelter, which will allow us to have a lot of activities undercover, which would be a good thing. We are trying to hire a new administrative person. Some of you may have seen the ads in the paper, but generally, I just want to say thank you to the continued support we've had. I hate speaking against the clock. It makes me very nervous. I know that's hard to believe, but it does. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Any question? I recommend anyone that hasn't went to the Railroad Museum to please do, because it is quite a treat. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank everybody.
Council, the next two are regional dues, I-77 Alliance and South Carolina Association of Counties, of which you have the information in your packets. Rescue Squad. Sister Care.
That's something serious, too. That's serious, Sister Care.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak about Sister Care today. My name is Melva Rogers. I am the Rural Court and Community Advocate for Sister Care. As a nonprofit agency, our mission is to provide trauma-informed services to advocate for domestic violence survivors and their children, and to promote prevention of domestic violence through community awareness and training. To the domestic violence victims in Fairfield County, we offer 24/7 crisis line services, individual counseling, court advocacy, children's counseling, legal representation, and much more. We operate 3 emergency shelters outside of Fairfield where domestic violence victims and children can stay to begin living their lives free from violence. In addition to the emergency shelters, we offer transitional housing programs to assist survivors in becoming financially independent. We also offer job search assistance, employment readiness assistance, and resume writing assistance. So far this year, we have been able to assist 21 domestic violence victims and their children in 1 or more programs that we offer. In addition to me, we have a children's counselor on staff in Fairfield County, and we recently hired an individual crisis counselor to provide emergency counseling to domestic violence victims here. All services we offer are free of charge and can be accessed conveniently at my office at the Fairfield County DSS building. And I believe we requested $8,000 again this year, and that's used to assist the domestic violence victims in Fairfield County, as well as any of our Fairfield County residents who are in our shelter program. Any questions for me?
I just wondered, you said 20-something this year, 21?
Yes, ma'am. So far, it's been 21 women that we've served this year.
How many of those women or whomever go back to the violence? Or do they all do better?
Well, some go back, and I'll say out of the 21 that I've served this year, I've had probably about half, about 10, that go back or stay in the situation. And so even when we have women that go back into a domestic violence situation, we still assist them. And so just recently I had a lady who decided she wanted to go back. She called me because she was ready to leave again. And no hesitation, we assisted her, got her and her children into our shelter services so that they could be safe.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for what y'all do.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Solicitor, Sixth Circuit.
Thank you all for having me. My name is Randy Newman, the elected solicitor for the Sixth Circuit. Tell you a little bit about what we do. As you know, we prosecute cases for your sheriff's office, but we also prosecute cases for any other agency that can create a warrant in our district. So think about we have a prison in our circuit, Kershaw Correctional. They write warrants. DNR, Department of Natural Resources, Department of Health and Environmental Control, DHEC, Department of Social Services, your South Carolina Highway Patrol, your State Law Enforcement Division, SLED, Department of Juvenile Justice. We prosecute all of those cases, as well as your Sheriff's Office and your cities and town police departments. We prosecute all domestic violence cases and DUI cases in magistrate court as well as general sessions. Otherwise, magistrate courts, we don't get involved unless it is domestic violence or DUI. In addition to prosecution, we are tasked with diversion programs. So these are programs that keep folks out of court and keep them out of prosecution and try to keep them from having a record. So we have juvenile arbitration, juvenile drug court, alcohol education, traffic education, pretrial intervention. We have a worthless check unit. We have an adult drug court, veterans court, and we also handle all expungements. Those are a few of the things that we do, and you'll see us out at your community events with our staff, giving out free information on these and trying to help people get expungements for their criminal record, and because our goal is to help those folks get back to work, clear up that record and get back to work. In Fairfield County, I have 2 full-time prosecutors and 1 part-time prosecutor, 2 additional staff members, and 1 investigator. As for our budget request, I am asking for an additional, sorry, I lost the number. I'm asking for an additional $56,082. And I can tell you what Mr. Frick said about the Public Defender's Office, we deal with the same issues as far as salary. I'm not asking for salary this year because I have dire needs that did not get addressed last year. So my budget request this year is the same as it was last year. I didn't get any of that last year. So first and foremost, career ladder. Several years ago, we passed career ladder, but it did not get funded continuously. So I actually had an attorney leave because we had promised him, you know, you're going to start out at this, and we're going to move you to this. We didn't get that funding, so that attorney left. The attorneys that are still there are due. That's $4,949 of that $56,000. Also, we have a need for IT. We did have to upgrade our case management system. That is a digital case management system. We had to upgrade. We went to each county and we asked for 1/3 of that cost, that being $18,000 per county. So we did get approved in Lancaster, got approved in Chester. We did not get that in Fairfield. That's what I'm asking for this year, $18,000 to cover our new case management system. Also, in addition, IT needs, we need to upgrade our internet in the courthouse. That will cost an additional $350 per month, and that's just due to sheer volume of things that we're getting digitally now, such as officers' body cam and things like that. In addition to that, we have a DUI grant that is ending. That provides funding for a DUI prosecutor throughout the 3 counties. I've asked each county to provide 1/3 of that funding as well. Again, Lancaster approved that last year. Chester County approved that last year. Fairfield County did not. That comes to $28,933 per county, and that's what I'm asking for here, and that's the total of the $56,000 that I'm asking for. In addition to that, any cost of living.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I think you're out of time. Yes. Thank you.
Any questions?
I have one. The money that you're asking, will that make us get up any further from the bottom down here with this per capita funding?
It will. I passed out this sheet that shows the per capita funding for my office and the per warrant funding. And you see my office ranks 12th out of 16, 16 being the lowest in the state for per capita funding, 13 out of 16 in per warrant funding. So you see Fairfield pays $5.48 per capita. Statewide average is $11.29. In per warrant funding, Fairfield provides $166 per warrant. The statewide average is $488. And you can see on there what I get from the other counties. You can see several other counties throughout the state that I'm not involved with. But if we get the full amount, the $171,000 that I'm asking for, that will bring us to $8.16 per capita. That will get us not to the statewide average, but a lot closer than the $5 that we're at now.
What about the per warrant funding? How would it come up?
I didn't do that calculation on where we would be should we get the funding, but I can get that to you through email.
So explain to me what the per capita funding is. Explain to that
so
to
I
me.
take the full amount that I get, which is the $114,000 that I get from Fairfield County, and divide that amongst the population, and that gets us to per capita funding.
Okay, all right.
Same thing with the warrants, and I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I can get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
I got one. So how do we compare per capita funding and per warrant funding to a lot of the other counties? I see you, there's 14.
So
Is these,
I didn't list all of the other counties. I can show you those. There are some that are much lower than we are. But just to show you the average statewide, that's where we're at.
yeah, and you know, I see that, and these are,
And you can see the other 2 counties in our circuit, Chester and Lancaster. You see what they
Right, right. But, I mean, to compare all the counties,
Right.
this is not a true,
Well, this is a
the
true average.
statewide would be, but not,
This is a true statewide average.
I understand that.
I just don't have all the
I understand it's true statewide, but you don't have a comparison to all
I
of
did
it.
not list-
So how do we compare? Are we ahead, above some counties?
We are above some counties.
Okay.
But we're far below the state average.
I understand that. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll be glad to email you the list, the full list if you.
That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Transitions.
Good evening, Council. I'm Craig Curry. I'm the President and CEO of Transitions Homeless Center, located in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm also a proud resident of Fairfield County. Transitions is a 260-bed facility. We house adults 18 and older, men and women. We also have a day center where people can come during the day. We've been open now almost 12 years. We have 50-plus partners, some of whom you've seen tonight. Cooperative Health and Columbia Area Mental Health are partners there who help overcome barriers for the homeless folks that stay there. Since we've opened in 2011, we've housed 3,400 people into permanent housing. Our goal is to do that. We're more than just give them a shelter bed and feed them. We've fed over 2 million meals since we've opened, but our goal is to put them into permanent housing, overcome barriers, get them jobs, get them mental health or addiction counseling, do whatever is necessary to get them housed. We have housed, last year we had 27 Fairfield County residents come down to Transitions. 17 were put into beds. An example would be a gentleman from a lifelong resident of Fairfield County who his roommate died. That caused him to be unable to maintain his housing here in Fairfield County, so he traveled south to Columbia. He was trying to get a disability. He had many medical conditions which prevented him from working. We worked on that disability to get it for him. We also got an emergency housing voucher for him. We looked in Fairfield County trying to get him affordable housing for that voucher. We failed. We could not find anybody who would take it, so he was housed in Richland County. So an example there of many of your folks, maybe they'll go south on an ambulance. When they're released from the hospital the next day, they are not sent back to Fairfield County. If they're homeless, they will come to Transitions. So there are people that will come south to get help. We welcome them, and we're grateful for your past years of support. And I have no problem helping anybody from Fairfield County because I live here. So again, we try to help folks do the best we can, get them into housing. That is the name of the game. We're asking for $5,000, general ops money, which could include utilities, maintenance. Inflation has been bad. Our food bill has doubled. So again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that costs have not gone up at the facility, but we have asked for $5,000 over the last several years, and we hope that council will be able to support that. Know that with those 17 people alone being in housing for a month or so, well, it's 3 times $5,000. So your money is getting spent on Fairfield County residents without any doubt.
Excuse me, you say you have 17 people as of right now?
17 people that we housed last year.
Okay.
That's it. I will take any questions that you have. We are grateful for the support that the council has given us in the past, and we hope that that will continue, and we hope to continue serving Fairfield County residents. Not that we want them to be homeless, but we want to put them back into housing. Any questions that I can take?
Do you coordinate with the Good Samaritan House?
Here, no. I mean, I coordinate with Jimmy down south. That's part of Christ Central.
Okay.
He's right across the street, Hope Plaza from us, but we are separate entities.
Okay. Any other question? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Council.
I would like to take this time to thank the agencies for coming out and presenting your fiscal year 24 budgets. Thank you for your service to Fairfield County as well. County Council, at this time, we have no further actions or items to cover.
I would like to hopefully speak on behalf of the chairman and the council to the agency also to say we appreciate your presentation. We would take serious consideration into your request. This is quite a taxing job, and we can't make promises, but we will say that we would do our best to try to fulfill our obligations to you. Anyone else? It's been motioned and second that we adjourn. All in favor?